Every morning, before dawn, Marcus Aurelius opened his eyes and said something strange to himself. The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Not an affirmation, not gratitude, a preparation. He said this while lying in a military tent on the frozen Danube frontier. He said it while running an empire under siege from every direction. He said it while carrying responsibilities that would have crushed most men. And then he got up, clear, ready, unshakable. The most famous philosophy book ever written was never supposed to be published. Marcus wrote it to himself, a private notebook, never intended for anyone else's eyes. What survives is a man sharpening his own mind, day after day, until nothing could dull it. And it started here, in the dark, before the day could touch him. The man lying in that bed was the Emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius, absolute ruler of 50 million people, commander of the largest military force on earth. He could have anyone killed with a word. He owned palaces, slaves, and more gold than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. None of it made the job easier. The petitioners who wanted favors, the generals who wanted glory, the senators who smiled while scheming, the advisors who told him what he wanted to hear instead of what was true. Every single day, an endless parade of people who needed something from him. Most men in that position become paranoid, or cruel, or numb. Marcus became deliberate. He wasn't preparing for a peaceful morning. He was preparing for the reality of leadership. The kind of war that doesn't end when the battle does. The kind fought in meetings and decisions and the slow grind of other people's demands. He trained for it the way a soldier trains for combat, every single morning. In 169 AD, Germanic tribes broke through the northern frontier. They reached Italy itself, the first invasion in 300 years. Marcus didn't delegate. He left Rome and rode north to command the legions personally. He would not return for 8 years. The conditions were brutal. Freezing winters on the Danube, constant warfare with tribes whose names have been forgotten, the Marcomanni, the Quadi, the Sarmatians. Behind him, the plague, carried back from an eastern campaign, was devastating the empire. Entire villages emptied, army units hollowed out. He lost several of his own children to it. Then came betrayal. Avidius Cassius, one of his most capable generals, declared himself emperor. The revolt spread across the eastern provinces before collapsing. Cassius was killed by his own officers. Marcus had wanted to spare him, had hoped to demonstrate that an emperor could answer betrayal with mercy instead of vengeance. He never got the chance. But the intention tells you something about the man. Somewhere during these years, historians believe around 172 AD, Marcus started writing. Not letters, not proclamations. Something private. The manuscript that survives is titled Ta eis heauton in Greek. It means to himself. That's not a modest title. That's a literal description. He was writing to himself, reminding himself, training himself. The entries have no structure, no system. They repeat the same ideas over and over, the way anyone repeats what they're trying to make permanent. Book 2 is headed, Written Among the Quadi on the River Gran. The Quadi were the enemy. He was in their territory, in a tent, in the middle of a war, and he was writing notes about how to govern his own reactions. One entry reads, At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work, as a human being. Then, a few lines later, you don't love yourself enough, or you'd love your nature too, and what it demands of you. He wasn't lecturing anyone. He was coaching himself past his own resistance. The same resistance everyone feels, to getting up, to facing difficulty, to doing what has to be done. Marcus turned that resistance into a practice, a discipline, something he did every single day until the day he died. Marcus engineered the words he returned to. He chose them deliberately, not to feel good, but to shape how he responded before the moment arrived. That same practice exists in simpler form today. If you want a structured way to build it, there's an app called Affirmations, a short daily prompt that takes less time than making coffee. Link in the description. What Marcus was doing has a name, though he never used it. The Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, the deliberate rehearsal of difficulty before it arrives. The logic sounds counterintuitive. Most people start the day hoping for the best, expecting cooperation, assuming things will go smoothly. Marcus did the opposite. He assumed difficulty and made peace with it in advance. The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. But the next line is the one that matters. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own, not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. He wasn't just bracing for difficulty. He was reframing the people who caused it. They weren't enemies. They were confused, acting from ignorance, not malice. This wasn't pessimism. It was inoculation. If you walked into the day expecting reasonable people and smooth outcomes, the first difficulty would knock him sideways. But if he walked in expecting friction and already understanding it, nothing could surprise him. Nothing could trigger the reaction he'd already processed. The obstacles didn't disappear. His reactivity did. Marcus Aurelius died in 180 AD, probably at Sirmium, near the Danube front. He was still there, still writing, still practicing. His final entry, no one knows which one, didn't summarize anything, didn't offer conclusions. The notebook simply stops. A man interrupted mid-discipline. His son, Commodus, inherited the empire and squandered it within a decade. The peace Marcus had secured evaporated. The dynasty ended. But the notebook survived. Someone found it, copied it, passed it on. For 1800 years, the private training regimen of a man who never wanted fame for it has outlived every palace he built, every battle he won, every law he signed. He wrote it to get through his own mornings. It's still getting people through theirs.